Hi, this is Marc with RawNutrition.com. In this video, I'm going to talk about the difference when you're juicing with a centrifuge juicer and a slow juicer. This is a Breville High Speed 10,000 RPM centrifuge juicer, and this is a slow speed juicer. This is the Kuvings whole slow juicer that turns at 70 revolutions per minute. So while both of these juicers have a wide mouth feed chute so that you can put in whole carrots like these that have been prepared, the use will be very different. In the high-speed centrifuge juicer, you can push them in more rapidly and probably get the juice done more quickly. The results are also different, so that's what I'm going to cover. For those who don't know too much about juicers, I'll open up the centrifuge juicer here. The Breville centrifuge juicer. These are pretty popular. A lot of people like them because of the stainless steel finish. Relatively good quality, a good build quality. Rather short on the warranty. They only have a 1-year manufacturer's warranty. So it's a 3-inch feed chute. Inside of the centrifuge juicer, you have the blade assembly. So basically, it's a high-speed blade that turns, takes your carrot, shades it down into a fine pulp that is spun through this screen, getting the juice out. The juice comes out in the juice bowl and out the spout. So, centrifuge juicers are nice, they're fast and easy to use. Let me assemble this together. So centrifuge juicers are quick to use, produce a fast result. You'll often see them in juice bars. They're juicing a lot of juice. They're much better with hard vegetables like carrots, beets, celery. And as soon as you get into greens, they tend to just spit those out through the back into the pulp container, and you won't get that much juice. You will be getting some green juice, but it doesn't juice as effectively. A slow juicer, like this Kuvings whole slow juicer, breaks down your vegetables and pushes the pulp through a screen. So it's definitely a slower process. It's only at 60 revolutions per minute. It's not a high speed process. It's going to take some time to get your juicing done. It's a slow masticating type process. So I'll show how this one works. Same thing with the wide mouth feed chute. The whole slow juicer has a central auger which turns and crushes. So as you put your vegetables in, they are broken down into a mush, and that mush is pushed through the screen. It's a very heavy-duty screen. Everything is pushed through, and the juice comes up. With a slow juicer like this, you're definitely getting the least oxidation possible and no heat. But you will get a little bit of pulp in your juice. Not everything is going to get filtered like it does with the centrifuge juicer. So you can use a filter on your juice bowl or filter it just before you drink it. But you will get a little bit of pulp. If you don't like pulp, you may want to use a filter to remove that. The advantage with the slow juicer and the juice that's produced from it, it'll oxidize much less quickly. Because of the slow process, there's no air that's incorporated like there is with a centrifuge juicer. So you got pros and cons on both sides. My personal preference, as anyone who's watched the video before, is a slow juicer. There is a place for a centrifuge juicer, but I guess not in my kitchen. I find them loud and the juice oxidizes fast. Sometimes you may want to prepare a juice at lunchtime and have something left over for supper. With a centrifuge juicer, unless you add lemon juice, it's going to turn. You're going to see the color of your juice change. So that's not as nice. Aside from like loudness, it certainly wakes up everybody in the house if you do juicing in the morning. And it has its limitations. It doesn't juice leafy greens very well. It doesn't really juice citrus very well either. It makes everything frothy. I find the slow juicer handles that much better. It gives you a wider range of fruits and vegetables that you can juice. Leafy greens also. While these tend to want to clog up if you do a lot of greens, a lot of leafy greens. If you go slow and you cut them into smaller pieces, to cut those fibers down so they don't clog up, it'll work very fine. If you're mixing fruits and vegetables, it'll also work very fine for greens and leafy greens. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the centrifuge juicer. Well, actually, I'll start with the whole slow juicer. If I juice with this, you'll already start to see the change in color of the juice. So I'll start with the whole slow juicer, and I'll give you an example that the juice doesn't oxidize as fast when it'll be sitting here in the container. So with a slow juicer, this is a 3-inch feed chute. And you can put in whole vegetables, but you've got to put them in like one at a time. This one's a little bit big, this one's going to help to get in. Rarely do you use the pusher to push anything down unless something is just not getting taken up by the auger. Before adding more, wait for that vegetable to be processed, and then you can add a second. And once they're really big, there's really no problem getting them in. If you didn't wait long enough, you may need to reverse and start again, just like this. You pretty much want to wait till your vegetable is processed before adding the next one. That's especially with hard vegetables like carrots or beets. Anything like that, you'll want to give the juicer a chance to process it before adding more. And I tend to go too fast when I'm doing the videos. I don't want to keep you waiting too long, so I end up choking up the juicer a little more than I should. So we give it a chance to let it process before adding more. So really all you're hearing with a slow juicer is just the crushing and the breaking down of the vegetable. That's it. I'm waiting until it's processed. Pretty much when I see there's no more pulp in there, I'm not hearing as much fiber being squished, and there's not as much juice coming out. I can add the next better. No big problem if you overfed. You basically just have to stop and reverse and go forward again. This one is pretty big, that fits. And there is a little plastic piece inside to prevent pushing in too much at once. So that's why it's a little harder when you have a really big carrot. Softer vegetables like an orange, you can just push it right through that little plastic piece inside. So that's pretty much it. So I just saw on the large pieces, it did want to stop if I was not letting it process the previous vegetables more efficiently. So we will leave that here. See, there's just a little bit more to go. Perfect. Now with the centrifuge juicer, this will be pretty loud, so I won't be talking while doing that. You see it'll be pretty quick. I'll be juicing very fast. It's turning at 10,000 revolutions per minute. So it'll produce this juice very fast, just a little more loud. And I'm using the official container that comes with it because it has a cover on it, you see here. You want to use that because the juice comes out of here pretty fast. It's not just going to slowly flow out like this. When you don't use the cover, it may tend to cover your whole kitchen counter with juice. So here we go with the There you have it. So you can see that was pretty fast, pretty loud, but fast. Now we'll compare how much juice we got from each one. I had 2 pounds weighed on each side. So I've got some containers here. The slow juicer does have a juice cap, so you can close that up to prevent any drips. And as you can see, this juice does have some pulp in there. The centrifuge juicer will have very little pulp. The container with this Breville does have a little lip. This prevents, that helps to keep some of the foam. That's the one thing, you do get a fair bit of foam with a centrifuge juicer, so this, when you're pouring, it keeps some of that foam inside. So here's our results. And we'll see what we have. 12. essentially we're seeing about 14 ounces let it settle a bit with the foam. I've got 14 ounces, pretty much the same in both. It looks like there's a little more, about 15 ounces with the Kuvings whole slow juicer. And that's pretty much what you can expect with 2 pounds of carrots. In the different demos I've done in comparisons, you pretty much get about that 14 ounces, which is 350, 375 millimeters. So about 350, 375 millimeters, pretty much the amount of juice. Now you can already see there's a bit of a difference in color. So I'm going to leave this sit here for a few minutes, and you can see the change between the two juices. This one was pressed first, but you'll notice this one will start to oxidize faster, even though it was pressed afterward. So let's take a few minutes and watch this change. Okay, so I've let these sit here for a little more than 10 minutes. You can see a different color, at least I can see it through the eye. I'm not sure how well it shows on the camera. The foam on the foam on the Breville side is a bit thicker still compared to the foam with the whole slow juicer. Definitely this is a very bright orange, and this one is slowly turning brown. So that's the effect of air being incorporated. I mean, one can avoid that by adding lemon. Ideally, why not juice with a slow juicer? I like the slow juice process of crushing and squeezing to get the juice. And I find it really makes a nicer juice in general. Convenience though with the centrifuge is the speed, and that's pretty much the only thing I can find is convenient. So there you have it. This is my demo between a centrifuge high-speed juicer and a slow masticating juicer from Kuvings. Be sure to check us out online at RawNutrition.com and also subscribe to our channel here on YouTube.